Hey guys, how's it going? It's 8-Bit Eric, and the next gen console launch is already almost a week in. It's been a week of Xbox Series X, and then in 2 days it'll be a week of PlayStation 5. And things are getting interesting, seeing, stats and figures and articles being read from different journalists and stuff like that. I'm going to read an interesting article from Forbes that talks about search data in regards to the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and just what's trending and what's popular and all that. This is kind of like nerdy SEO mumbo jumbo type of stuff, but it's real interesting to see it showing where gaming is trending towards as far as the Google search algorithm goes. So we're going to take a look at this. I think it's pretty interesting. If you aren't subscribed yet, guys, why don't you go ahead and click that red subscription button down below. I'm trying to get to 80,000 subscribers before the end of the year. That would be legit if you guys helped me out, if you're not part of the nation, and enable your bell notifications so you know when I go live. So here we go, guys. Interest in PS5 appears to be 2 to 3 times more than Xbox Series X. This is from Forbes, and you can see we got some data here. It says, well, we don't have any sales info on either the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X or S yet, but there are a number of metrics to go on all the same. The most readily available large-scale poll data to pull from is search data from Google, and sifting through trends, I'm seeing some clear patterns emerge. So this person that wrote the article, they are Paul Tassi, did a little bit of search engine pattern searching. Trend searching. It says, as expected, search interest in the PlayStation 5 has been more than the Xbox Series X, pretty much indefinitely other than Xbox launch day itself. So this was expected. I guess, if you were to be honest and say the truth about both systems, seems to be a bit more larger and casual interest in the PlayStation 5 than the Xbox Series X, but that's fair. It says digging into the numbers a little more in the United States, they actually break it down by state. So here's the top 5 states that show more interest for the PlayStation 5. It says the state most interested in PlayStation 5 is California, makes up 76% of searches to the Xbox Series X is 22. The Series S is 2% in the last 30 days. So you can see the difference. California, oh my gosh. Delaware, New York, Florida, and New Jersey compared. So the blue, of course, is PlayStation 5. The red is Xbox Series X. And then the orange, the small sliver of orange that you see is the Series S. Now, here we go on to say, it says in the state most interested in Xbox Series X, North Dakota, it makes up 38%. Searches to PlayStation 5's 58%, to Xbox Series S's 4%. So the biggest state interested in Xbox Series X was North Dakota, and it only got 38% of the searches compared to PlayStation 5's 58%. That's still crazy. That still shows Sony is beating up, and this is for the most interested states, the Dakotas, Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana. So very interesting, and those are really random states located like up. I don't see the populations being as big as these. So maybe that factors in population density, stuff like that. I mean, California, New York, and Florida are 3 of the biggest states. We're just missing Texas, oddly enough. Wonder where Texas falls in with all this. You don't even have it in the most interested Xbox areas either. Alright, so it says globally, the picture's even wider. Many countries are well over 80% in searches for PS5 over both Xboxes, while Japan, of course, is 96%, the highest by a mile, though availability across regions is a factor here, certainly. So these are interests for PS5 among globally. Japan, well expected. Microsoft has never done good at all in Japan as far as Xbox has been concerned. That is overwhelming. Then we got Portugal. That's pretty random. India, Italy, and Greece. And you can see PlayStation 5 fever is going on. And this goes on to say there's only one single country that has more search volume for Xbox Series X than PS5. And no, it's not the United States. Rather, it's Mexico, which has 48% searches for Series X, 12% for Series S, and 40% for PS5. So that's interesting. I didn't know Mexico had a bigger interest in the Series X. I don't know. Maybe Microsoft should look into that. Then the UK, Hungary, Colombia, and Russia. Very interesting stats to look at. So this goes on to say, so what are the takeaways from all this? And this is mostly opinionated from the writer of this article, but it's an interesting read regardless. First, I want to be clear that no, this does not directly equate to sales. That cannot be extracted from this data until we get harder numbers, though that will be difficult because Microsoft's probably sticking with their philosophy from the last few years that they'll no longer release data for individual consoles. So they did say that they weren't going to be releasing stuff recently. It says, but what I'm gathering is that the estimated sales ratio of last gen, where the PS4 outsold the Xbox One by more than 2 to 1, appears to be holding to a certain extent. If sales are anywhere close to these ratios, and that's even including both Xbox models, and with Microsoft making no major hardware missteps this time around, like the Kinect bundle from last gen. I'm surprised to see interest in Xbox Series S trailing behind both consoles to this degree. It's a fraction of the interest in the Series X itself, which implies that most people are in the hunt for the more powerful console, which are both sold out almost everywhere, and the lower price of the Series S at $300 is not quite the draw many imagined. Generally used to wonder if the Series S had the potential to outsell the Series X, but from these figures that seems exceedingly unlikely, though we don't know what the supply ratio is for each console coming from Microsoft. So that's interesting to equate. It pretty much, Series S interest looks very small. Looking at the orange sliver on all of this, I think I went on to say earlier this past year that I think the Series S was a waste of resources and time, but to each its own. Microsoft has billions and billions of dollars for a reason. It says none of this strikes me as terribly surprising given how last gen went and the narrative heading into this release season. Even if Microsoft didn't make any unforced hardware errors, just software with the Halo Infinite delay, last gen set them behind and they're never going to sell as many units as Sony. We'll look for actual sales numbers soon, but they may only be coming from PlayStation, not Xbox. So this must be the best estimate for the moment. Very interesting, though. I don't know if you guys like to look at raw data and stuff like that, stats, but these do tell a very huge interest compared to the Xbox from the PlayStation 5 fans. I would like to see where all the other countries stack up, in states especially. It was interesting to see which ones had more interest in what. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, guys. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And subscribe, once again, if you haven't already. Make sure you enable the bell notification so you don't miss when I upload or when I go live. I go live most nights, live streaming here on YouTube. I'd love to see you guys there. I'm trying to get 80,000 subscribers before the end of the year as well. So help me out, guys. Help me out. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a great day.